thing when you register a company, the only thing you are being told that you pay for the license, then you go. So I'm worried. Isn't this a trick to arrest some of us who have registered the business that...
All right.
Thank you very much.
No, I like that question. That's a very honest question, and I'm really happy someone has raised this question. Again, you're somebody is having to... Please nominate someone. I can't delegate upwards to the CG team. Okay, there. Then I'll go here. And we have to have a lady, so I've seen a lady finally. Yes.
Protocol observed members, my name is Dr. Solomon Musitra. I work for the Uganda National Medical Alliance for Prisoner Support, an implementing partner to support prisoners and their families in Uganda. My question goes to Sarah, the commissioner who was speaking previously, about the tax exemption for these things like gloves. I'm a medical doctor myself, but when you say like exempting gas cylinders, gloves, there is no hospital in Uganda here where you go and get free oxygen cylinder in any hospital. Rather, we would say that let us exempt things like electricity, like water, and maybe these daily bills at OPD when you are entering in the main hospital. Second to that, the PSST talked about issues of security and stability. And the other way around, the security and the stability, you see, I can say that it's amongst us ourselves. Like for instance, if you can groom these ex-convicts who leave prisons, tomorrow they are there, the other day they go there, I think that because now you will set up a business, the following day, the business is taken off by these ex-convicts. Because they are relaxant in the community, they don't have what to do. I think if you can do such things, we can really groom our country, and the economy will continue grooming.
All right. So, all right. I really have no time. I need to finish. Thank you. There's a lady there, and sir, allow me pass on this question to another person. The lady there. I need as many other people to contribute, sir. There you go.
My name is Mdembe Sharon. I'm from Bachan Enterprises. Now I'm asking, how is URA going to sensitize people about the good things when they pay taxes, I mean local people, and then the negative attitude about URA? Because really, local people have negative attitude, and these people, they have to pay taxes. And I'm here to help if you need help.
I like that. You're an ambassador from today. You're an ambassador from today. So what are the incentives when you pay tax on time? Well, there's also the taxpayers' awards. One of them is that you will definitely be recognized as a very good taxpayer. But there are many others. Don't worry. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Maurice. Just to see if this may allow me for 10 more seconds. My name is Alan Mujisha. I hope that buys me a few more seconds, but I just have 4 areas to quickly comment on. The gentleman from Accord talked about the per capita distribution of the 100 million. I was in Buvuma district, the most sparsely populated district, I think, in the country. A parish there has an average of 5 villages, and a village has an average of 40 households. And so 100 million would mean 20 million per village, would mean 2 million per household, and would mean about, say, maybe 41,000 per month per household, which would be about 1,300 shillings per household per day. Now, you can imagine, that can never be enough, but is that an impact? Maybe it is. So I guess the parish model is not about, it's not a revenue to citizens, but it is a bank to allow for group borrowing and group usage at the end of the day. So how can we leverage that? The CG of URA earlier mentioned in his opening remarks that we are 2.5 million entities. I don't know how many of those are individuals, firms, or companies, but I would imagine many of them would be individuals. We have about, the UBOS tells us we have about 14 to 15 million size of a working population. Is it possible that the PDM can be used as a pretext to expand the tax base? Because then people are getting on board expecting grants from government. So is it possible that the URA model and nationally can follow them, even if it's for delayed catch-up, to come on board and pay later in year 4, year 5? Maybe that could be a good penetrative point. We can use that. The other point then is, I haven't addressed my mind to the issues, but We know that in 1995, a bank like Standard Chartered Bank had a minimum balance for opening an account of about 1 million shillings. Yeah, and even when you open a bank with a minimum amount to open, there was a sizable minimum amount to keep on your account in order to access and keep that money active. But we all now know that there are millions of banking agents all over the country. Can that be layered? Can that opportunity be layered around tax administration and tax collection? And what would be the opportunities in that in quickly coming up with bigger numbers? But I have a prayer. You know, many times when they say government has not issued new taxes, it means that the existing ones are going to be heavily sought after. So URA, please, and the team that you have, if you can be slow on us and alert us which other areas that you have not been activating, you're coming on, such that we can prepare ourselves for that. But my last appeal, and I'm really, why I'm really happy to be here, Mr. CG, is that we are working together with Private Sector Foundation and MasterCard Uganda with a target to bring on board 300,000 new jobs under the Young Africa Works model using a lead farm. This is mainly targeting the informal sector. Yeah, in agriculture value addition, in the construction sector, and so on and so forth. But, ladies and gentlemen, in many of the clinics that we are attending, sensitize these people to adopt this program, they are asking us, aren't you making us visible to the taxman? And we are saying, obviously we are, but it will be for your benefit later. And they're saying, no, I've been surviving without this benefit. Why do you want me to all of a sudden be visible, and why would I want to be part of that? So we are asking for an opportunity that, is it possible that we can work in partnership with you to do what we are called staggered compliance with this grouping? Let them come on board, let them see the value, let them see the earnings they are making on the digital platforms we are putting them on, then in a staggered way they can come onto the compliance platform.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alan. Now you deserved the extra 10 seconds. Allow me just go back to the panel, but allow URA to agree who will represent the institution. And I want to begin with Julius. You have 30 seconds, your closing statement.
Okay, my parting shots. Two main things. Number one is that we need to get prepared to invest where we want to collect resources. And that will help not only to reduce the burden on the existing taxpayers, but we can be able to expand and ensure that every other person is in the taxation bracket, and we pay our fair share of fair share of taxes. So the 2.4 million taxpayers on the register, with the 7 million who are engaged in income-generating activities, I believe we can be able to expand our tax base. Lastly, is to thank Ministry of Finance again, and I think URA, for really taking the hard decision not to increase the taxes. But like the colleague has said, is that we still have those serious taxes that are affecting us. The mobile money tax is a tax really we need to look at it further and see how we can help to reduce it to increase financial inclusion. On that note, thank you very much, and we look forward to participate in this economy, taking the advantage that have been brought us and the opportunities. And I ask each and every citizen to ensure that they participate and monitor the budget. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Julius. Jen?
Thank you so much, and also for the issues coming up. My parting short one, it's about the revenue cycle. I think we need to think in terms of revenue cycle, that how we mobilize, allocate, utilize will come back to the way we are going to mobilize. Therefore, we need to put resources in productive resources so that we can be able to grow the economy, create employment and jobs, generate taxable incomes, and also create aggregate demand. So that's really, really important. So when we are looking at revenue collection, we need to think about the next cycle. Where should we put our resources? Then lastly, it's the structure of our institutions. We need to rethink that. It's good that PSST talked about rationalization of government agencies and agencies, but I think we need to dig deeper, rethink. Take an example of the energy sector. We talk about deemed energy, but we are paying for energy which we haven't used. How do we ensure that our energy sector, we get value for money there? Even in the education sector, there are gaps there, so we need to think about that. But at the end of that day, I think we are hopeful that things will be okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you very much. Dr. Arthur?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very quickly, again, to appreciate URA. I think URA is highly respected in the country. A lot has changed. And I also see that you pray, which is a fundamental thing. Continue. But just quick things. One, I want to suggest that URA, that the tribunal that you talked about, you could even decentralize it, support businesses that are about to die so that they don't die, especially education institutions. There are people who committed suicide because the banks came and they sold actually their schools. There are universities that I know, and I sit on their boards. URA has even closed their bank account. So my suggestion, and yet they are very, very important. If they died, we lose. So I would suggest that in the negotiations, you can give them a payment plan. These institutions would rather remain and bring in little money. Remember, you are your government. Government is a giant. It can never collapse. So, but businesses can collapse. Reach a wrong payment plan for universities, for private institutions, education institutions, so that they pay slowly and recover because of this COVID and what you know. The other point it has to do with I appreciated the exemption on the research institutions. ACORD is a research institution, and when you said that, I was very happy. From time to time, the auditors tell us, you are not yet tax exempt. But I'm told most organizations that have applied to URA for tax exemption, it is very rigorous, and then it is repeated every year. So that's an area I thought that we need to help us, most organizations, to become tax exempt and qualify, because it's always an audit query. So, the final thing is that I want to partner with URA as a research institution. There is capital that we can bring to the URA. I know the predecessor, I think, had even approached us that we could actually reach a partnership. We have a partnership with finance, with the ministry. Mr. Kagwa can attest. So we can partner and increase our research capability so that actually we can even have a roadmap of how many people are coming into taxable capacity every year. How do we create a roadmap to increase the taxable people or companies from 2.5 to maybe 20, 30 million? I think that can be researched scientifically, and then we work on a plan. Just 1 second, that I want to say something about the digital economy. I think that's another area where we can make money, but without killing it, because that's technology we need to enhance it, create opportunities for people to innovate, create those businesses. But most of them around the world, including Google, are very difficult to tax. I think that's another area that URA can build its capacity to tax the e-business and the e-business. Finally, is UPE dropout that the president talked about? And this is for Mr. Kagwa. I think the president said that 61% of the children that enroll at primary one drop out. They never complete P7. For me, that's alarming when we are talking about the recovery of the economy. Education is an investment in human capital. If people are not gaining skills and knowledge, that country is doomed. So if 61 are falling out, and I think the president said that in the next budget, that is going to be compulsory. And I think it's an indictment to Minister of Finance that you continue to budget to pay $10,000 per child. Is it per month? When the parents are paying 70,000, I just came back from the village and I asked, the parents are paying 70,000 and they are very poor, and now the children are out of school. I moved around. We have young people, they are in brick making, they are in sand, they are in drugs, they are on alcohol. People are getting married at 20, at 17, and producing young ones who will be actually trapped in permanent poverty. So I think we need to be serious. The next budget, because you know when they budget, they start budgeting for the next financial year. We need to put serious money on UPE and UCE and educate our people. That is the secret of Israel. 56% of their budget is put on education. We can do that and actually say bye to poverty.
Thank you, Dr. Arthur. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our panel. And as they leave, I want to invite Sarah Chelengat to come and reply the questions that were asked, the specific questions to Uganda Revenue Authority. Please note that as the discussion progressed on the parish development model, as the sensitization happens, the money is not going to the households directly. The money is going to enterprise units at the household level, really. So it means if there's 4 or 5 households that are interested, for example, in poultry as their enterprise, the 2 million Alan you are speaking to becomes 6 or 8 million, which becomes money one of them or as an enterprise can use to increase the number of birds they have. And you can cut it across the other units. But it's a revolving fund. Again, the money comes back and goes into another enterprise, or the money comes back. The best part around the monitoring and evaluation is that for one enterprise group that is not able to manage their money well, they'll not get money again, or they'll have to do something better for their money. I'm trying to do my job, Moses, by educating. TK, oh, fantastic. Sarah.
Thank you, Maurice, and thanking our taxpayers for being very patient with the time. Let me pick up the questions. There was a question on tax exemptions being so many and affecting revenue collection. It's something that government, URA and the Minister of Finance is also looking into, just to be sure that if you got that incentive, you should actually be doing what was agreed upon, because we have conditions for those exemptions. So as URA, we are the people who implement, go to the field and confirm that those exemptions, the conditions are actually being followed up. And on the double tax treaties, we are actually renegotiating. We noted that as a country, we negotiated some of those treaties when we were not at this level of development, and we now feel that we should have negotiated better. So most of the treaties are being renegotiated, especially Netherlands and Mauritius, and also bringing others on board. In trade negotiations, sometimes if you are not very strong economically, you may not be very good in bargaining. You may not get the best deal. Overtaxing, somebody was saying that the threshold of 235 being tax exempt is quite low. That one I will give it to the policy makers, Minister of Finance, to confirm. We just implement. Harmonizing the VAT within the EAC. It's something that is being discussed at EAC level. Kenya has 16% and all the other EACs are at 18%. It's really good to harmonize most of these taxes, because we treat EAC as one trade block, one market. And then on fake stamps for cement, we thank you for bringing up that issue. We are actually going to be very, very tight on fake stamps. Come 1st July, the laws are there. We discussed the penalties. They are very punitive. And our enforcement teams have been doing that. So we hope that this will really be out of that. We will not have fake products in the market. There was a complaint on tax clearing certificates. You get a deal in the newspaper and then you run to URA for a TCC. So when you reach URA, we tell you, no, this is your compliance status. The best way to do that is to proactively engage URA even when you are not looking for a TCC. You can now log in and check on your ledger, extract your tax balance and be able to check and call us. And then also just do the compliance as provided for by the law. File your returns every 6 months, ensure that you've paid in time to avoid that, because it's really a cost of business if you can't get a tax clearance on time. And by the way, the TCC is now digital. If you don't have any tax issues, you get it instant because you can apply online. But if you have tax issues, then you get those delays. There was a question on training after being onboarded when you are newly registered for tax. We are implementing that. We give you 3-month period to take you through the compliance obligations so that you are able to comply and file in time. Like I had indicated earlier, our communication channels have also been improved through the contact center. We will keep sending you those messages through email, through SMS, to remind you of your, like for example, for the income tax filers, which with the deadline